So for the past few days, I've been lucky enough to play Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which is a remaster of Crisis Core on the PSP. And I was able to get the PS5 copy early. Even though I had already pre-ordered and purchased the Steam Deck version, I was able to get the PS5 version much earlier. So I've been spending a lot of time playing the game. And as a massive Final Fantasy fan, this was a game that I was very much looking forward to. This was the game that was going to cap off the rest of my year, and I was just counting down the days until I was finally able to get my hands on the remastered version of one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made. Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel once again. If you guys are finding me for the very first time, or maybe you're a long-time viewer, not yet a subscriber, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe button. So Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core was first released in Japan back in September 13th, 2007. So it's been a long time since the release of Crisis Core on the PlayStation Portable, and let's be honest, a lot of people never even played Crisis Core. Now this is my original copy, and I love this game so very much. I think it's one of the most overlooked Final Fantasy games in the whole series, but that's because it was on the PlayStation Portable, and a lot of people automatically just dismissed the game because they didn't want to just play a handheld version of a game. But now fast forward many years later, and now we get Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, a new up-to-date remastered version of that great classic PlayStation Portable game. And how did Square Enix do? I think they just knocked it out of the park. Not only did the graphics get a massive upgrade, but the gameplay as well. The fact that we can now use that right analog stick to move the camera everywhere on the screen is a real major improvement to the gameplay, to be honest with you. Plus a lot of the quality of life improvements that were put in this game. That is something that just makes the game even more enjoyable to play. Back when this game was released on the PSP, you were very limited on the different control schemes that you could have with this game, and a lot of things were very clunky. But now that this game has been remastered on every console, and I can't wait to get this game on Steam Deck, this has just been a game that I've been having a blast playing for the past 4 days, doing all the side missions, leveling up my character. If you never played Crisis Core before, this is actually a prequel to the events that happened in Final Fantasy VII. A lot of people are picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake for the very first time, but Crisis Core acts as a prequel to the events of Final Fantasy VII, and in many ways Final Fantasy VII Remake, although we still are not clear what the events at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake has to do moving forward with the next couple games. But due to the events that happen in Crisis Core, it sets on this chain reaction that goes throughout the story of Final Fantasy VII, and you really get to understand the relationship between the characters Zack and Cloud and Aerith, and really see where these events lead in further installments in Final Fantasy VII. Crisis Core has always been one of my personal favorites. I am a massive Final Fantasy fan, having played all the Final Fantasy games, collecting Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is my most beloved franchise. Right now, I'm currently going back and playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Steam Deck, which is a awesome and great way to play that game, getting ready to play Crisis Core. But when I got Crisis Core, I had to put everything on hold and just jump into it because I think it is such an underrated game. Just the gameplay and the story and the raw emotions that you feel by the end of the game is something that a lot of games can't replicate. And Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core has always been like that game that I try to tell everybody, it was like they have to be able to play. I think Square Enix did a fantastic job remastering. I think this was a game that needed to get off that platform, that needed to get off that PlayStation Portable platform and into a more streamlined console, because it's really a game that is very heavily focused in Final Fantasy VII Remake. And for the future games moving forward, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we need to be able to know the events that happened in Crisis Core, and unfortunately a lot of people don't know. And that is something that's really sad and unfortunate. But now with them remastering this game, we're all being able to experience it again, and this time with higher resolutions, higher frame rate, and better gameplay mechanics. And that is something that I am enjoying the most. A couple complaints that I personally heard from some people is they didn't necessarily enjoy the new voiceovers. Now with this remaster, they did a few things with the music and the voice acting because they wanted to keep it in continuity with what people know from the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So they all now have the same voice actors that are found in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Zack's voice does throw me off a little bit, but I like the fact that it's in continuity now with Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they even added dialogue that wasn't necessarily in the original version, because there was a lot of text in the original PSP version. Now they added actual dialogue, voice dialogue, and I really appreciate that. It just makes the game flow so much better. So although I don't necessarily love Zack's new voice, I do like the fact that all the other characters are now in continuity with that of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Overall, I've been loving the game. I've been enjoying myself. I've been addicted just playing it, and I can't wait to get my Steam Deck version. God, I can't wait to get my Steam Deck version. But I highly recommend Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion. It's a great game, has great gameplay, great story, and that ending is gonna get you. I promise you that ending is going to get you. But I want to know what you guys think. Are you interested in getting Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion? Are you going to wait? Have you already played it? Leave those comments in the comment box below, and until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and thank you for watching.